All right, Hogs, I'm going to talk about our blocking for this week against Owatonna. Owatonna runs a 3-4 defense just like we do. Now, against our bunch formation, we don't know exactly how they're going to play it until we get to game time. Um, it's interesting. And what I mean by that is where they're going to play this outside backer. They will most likely be a 4 to a 4-eye here. Okay, so they kind of play more interior here on the inside shoulder of our tackles. Um, And I don't know if they're going to put this outside backer on the inside part of our Y when we're in bunch, or if they're going to put them on the outside. So that'll be dependent a lot on the plays that we run. If they play some outsider Y, then I can see plays like G or power or counter would be good for us because he's way out here and it'd be easier for us to kick him out. If this linebacker lines up inside our Y, then truck is a really good play for us because we can get really good down blocks here and then get to the outside. So that's why we have this bunch package, so we can see where they're going to put this contain player, and then we can run our plays based off that. Okay. But for now, I'm just going to put him head up here. That's a nice even balance of what we could see. Okay. So let's just go inside out here with our plays so I can talk about it. For trap. So we kick out a 2 or wider. So here we would say 4-4-4. Um, what I, what we're going to do this week is that we're going to say the number of the guy we're kicking out. So if his number is 56, we're going to say 56, 56. So they know the exact number of the guy we're kicking out. That will help all of our receivers. That'll help for power and counter. We're going to say, hey, number 23, number 23. So they know exactly the guy we're trying to kick out. We are going to echo that call on the back side if we're kicking out. So if we're kicking out a 4, we'll say number 52 here. Back here, we'll say, hey, number 58, number 58. So they don't know if we're running trap to the right or if we're running trap to the left. Okay. So here our rule is gap on. Okay. So we're doubling. We have a cage call, doubling to FBI. Here we are rip releasing inside if we have a good path, but we could go outside if we needed to. We'll take the path of least resistance. But if we take this path outside, we got to make sure we go right off the end's butt so we can make sure we get to this linebacker who might be stepping up. Um, Here, we're making sure this linebacker doesn't cross our face. We're working up to FBI. Same thing here. Make sure he doesn't cross our face. Working up to safety. Okay. Backside, we are kicking out. Wheel and seal on the backside. Make sure we're stepping down hard in case this linebacker is blitzing. Make sure we can stop that. And then we're good to go there. Okay, so that's trap. Same thing with wham. Let's say we're running wham to the left. Okay, number 56, number 56, number 52, number 52. Make sure we make those calls. Okay, taking the path of least resistance to FBI. Cage call to the backside backer. Okay. Gap on double with the backside guard and tackle. So here we block our gap. Here we block our gap. Kick out the end. Okay. Make sure that guy doesn't cross your face to touchdown block. This might be a thing where both you and the tackle block him, just depending on how we call it here. Because they could decide that he's too far off and then they will just double team here to somebody else, and then you can go up to safety. It's all dependent on how they line up. Okay, but that would be wham. Once again, kicking out a 2 or wider. If we ran power to the right, we'd say it's 5 or wider. Okay, so we'd be kicking this guy. So we'd say number 25, whatever his number is, that we know that's the guy that we're kicking out. Okay, we'll take the path of least resistance. Okay, to get by this guy. Okay, going to FBI. whichever way that is. So if you think get inside, get inside. If not, go around the outside. Um, so right there. Here, your rule is gap on double God. This is God's play, remember? So block down. Same thing here. We have a cage block to the backer. H is kicking out first 5 technique or wider. Okay. We're pulling up and around into the hole. Probably going to block this safety, but you're going to find first ugly jersey in the hole. And we'll wheel and seal the backside. The backside wheel and seal is very, very important. We got to make sure we get that job done. Make sure we're not getting pressed into the hole super hard. That happened to us a couple times during our scrimmage. So it's power. Let's say we're running counter back this way. So same thing, number 37, saying the number of the kickout guy. Your roll is gap on double, gap on double. So this is a cage block to the backside backer. Okay. Now it's counter. So we're kicking out that linebacker, leading up and through the hole to the inside backer there. Okay, backside here, make sure this linebacker doesn't cross your face. Working up touchdown block, wheel and seal with the backside tackle. Okay, and then we're good to go. This should be a really good play for us, I think, if we come out in this bunch and they oversell to it. Let's say if they even got this safety over here and they're really playing this tight, counter back would be a good play because they don't have a lot of guys out here to really block. Okay, so that's counter back that way. Let's talk about G. All right, so if we ran G to the right, so same thing, it's a 6 or a wider. So we'd be kicking out this linebacker, number 25, number 25, number 28, number 28, whatever their numbers are. Make sure we echo the call both sides every play. But here our rule is gap on. So we're blocking our gap. We're trying to drive him down. Okay, play side. Guard is kicking out here. H is doubling. We'll have a hat call to FBI. Okay, punching that guy's hip if it shows, working up to that linebacker. Okay, this Y taking the path of least resistance here. Okay, either inside or outside the kick out guy to FBI, building a wall on the backside. Okay, center, your rule is play side on backside, so we'll be trying to scoop this nose. They do like to bring pressure and backers. So when in doubt, make a homer call. If they're kind of dancing around and you'll just step to your gap, you'll step to the backside gap and block it. Okay. But if the linebackers are not showing like they're coming, then you'll block play side A gap. And then we will be pulling up and around through the hole, looking up to M, and then backside tackle, we are wheeling and sealing. Okay. But like I said, if those linebackers seem like they're showing, or they're going to be blitzing, make a homer call so we can block the backside A gap, block the play side A gap, and we're good to go. So that's G. Next play, kick. Let's talk about kick. Everyone is God, gap on double to backside. So here for this would be more so in like a tank formation. So let's look at that here. Okay, so we would be doing for running kick to the right here. We would have a Ted block to the linebacker. We'd have a cage block to the linebacker. Block your gap, kick out here, leading up and through the hole, or running the ball up and through the hole. That's how that would look there. Okay. Now let's go back to bunch here. Now for running truck to the right here, how this will look. For the front side here, we'll block the first guy inside. So here the Y is going down to the 4. Our Z is going to that backer there. H is going out and kicking out the corner. Play side tackle is getting around the crap and blocking first guy up to in. This guard, is making a determination. Does a linebacker look like he's showing? Does this end look like he's slanting into the B gap? Okay, if he's getting any of those reads, then he's going to just go gap to cutoff. Same thing here. We're gap to cutoff, gap to cutoff, gap to cutoff. Okay. Step to our gap first, take anyone that comes there and scoop them, cut them off from the play. If no one shows up, then we're working up to the second level. Okay. But that's how that would look there. Um, Now if this linebacker shows up inside here, okay, our Y would block him here, just like that. Hopefully we can get a 2-for-1 by driving the linebacker down into the end. Okay, our Z would be working up here to first guy inside to FBI. We don't know exactly how they'll play this. Okay, tackle pulls around, or sorry, H would kick out the corner. Tackle pull around, first guy up and in. Okay, same thing here. We could either pull or gap to cut off, gap to cut off, gap to cut off, gap to cut off. Okay. Um, Pass protection. Talk about that. Let me just reorganize these guys here. There we go. All right, pass protection. We're gonna have automatic fan calls this week. I think that'll help us out. Automatic fan calls, so our tackle's working out to the linebacker. Um, Guard is working out to the 4 technique. Center is one-on-one with the nose. We're working out to the 4. We're working out to the linebacker. So we're going to make an automatic fan call. Every time we step up, it'll be automatic on both sides. Just because they do like to bring the linebackers late and they like to disguise it. They do a twist a lot. So if your linebacker's on close to the end, they will do a twist where the end will go out and the linebacker will loop in. So if that happens, the tackle, it's kind of natural. If this end crosses your face, you're going to take him. And as this guard steps out, if he sees his end disappear, think immediately that someone is coming back inside. If that's the case, then you have to switch with the tackle. The tackle and the guard have to switch their guys, and the guard would pick up the linebacker that's looping over the top. Okay, same thing over here. They could do the same thing where he goes out, he comes underneath, tackle would take the end, linebacker would take the guard. They do like to do that. Now, if a linebacker does step up, or if you think a linebacker is coming, we need to make an off call and we need to make it loud and we need to point out to the linebacker so this A-back knows he is now going out. Okay, and we are blocking man on us here. Okay, so we got to make sure we make that determination there. Okay, we have to be decisive and we have to communicate. That's also another thing we did not do a great job of during the scrimmage is communicating. I think having automatic fan calls will help us. That way we know exactly where we're going every time. But we got to make sure we make an off call, even if we think, if they're kind of creeping up, make that off call right away, so we can all be on the same page. Okay. Uh, let's talk about boot and pass. Remember, that's just G blocking. So if we ran boot to the right, your rule is gap on. So you're blocking this 4. If it's boot, we're trying to log this 7 technique, this outside backer. If he drops, then you're looking for maybe a linebacker or any garbage that's coming. Center, your gap play side on backside. So you're just blocking that A gap defender. Once again, if there are 2 A gap defenders, if they're the linebacker creeping up, then the backside guard can make a homer call and he'll stay in. But if not, he is getting outside the tackle, checking the play side A gap as he's going. Once he gets outside the tackle, he is then turning back looking for any garbage coming from the backside. Okay. Now, pass is the same thing, but remember the quarterback is stopping about right here. So this is just like G where we're going to kick out. We're gonna block gap on, play side on backside. Okay, pulling and turning back, wheel and seal on the backside. Okay, so we're still kicking out on pass, but we are trying to log the end man um, on boot. Okay, there's that. Um, Screen. If we run screen to the right, uh, we set up 1,000, 1,000. Okay, still fanning like we normally would. So we'd still have our fans. So we'd go here, we'd go here, here, here. Tackles would stay on the linebackers. Um, the whole time, tackles are just pass blocking like they normally would. Okay, everyone else, if we're running a screen to the right, okay, our A back will set up right there. Uh, Play side guard and center, they'll block 1,000, 1,000, and then they are going to the play side linebacker. And then the backside guard, he will block 1,000, 1,000, and then he is trying to scoop the backside backer so we can hopefully run the ball right down the middle. Okay. Now, if we do G right, reverse left, we talked about this play a little bit. The front side is running G and the back side is running reverse. So this was what it will look like. Center has play side on backside. Play side guard is kicking out. Play side tackle is gap on, so he's blocking his gap. Same thing on G. Don't touch the linebacker, working first backer inside. Okay, here you're doubling with the tackle. Okay, this is a hat call, working the FBI. On the backside here, though, you are fake skip pulling. You'll take 2 steps and then you are coming out here to block the corner. Here you are blocking uh, the 4 technique and you're trying to scoop him away from where we are running the reverse. Okay, so our running back is going to go here and we're going to pitch the ball here on the reverse. And our X is going to block this linebacker here. Okay, and that's our reverse. So that is G right, reverse left. So the back side is running the reverse. The front side is just running G as normal. Okay. I think that just about covers everything, all of the blocking that we should know. One thing I will talk about now is that they do like to reduce down this defensive end into a 3 technique on the back side sometimes. So you will have a 3 and a 5, and they'll move this guy out to like a 1. So they will have an even front sometimes. Um, or they'll just bump down this backside end on the weak side to a 3 technique. So if they do that, if we run trap to the left here, we will trap the 3, block here, go to FBI, go to FBI, go to FBI, and we'll kick the 3 there. Okay, if we run counter to the left against this 3 technique, this will be a tag to FBI, block down, kick out, lead up and through. Okay, that should be a good play for us once again. Okay, what else? We'd still have truck and G that direction. If we ran truck, the tackle would block the 3 technique, guard would be up, center would block here. The nose, that 1 technique, guard can still pull if we're running truck. Tackle will pull, will be down, and the H would pull and kick out as well if they moved into that even looking front. G to the right, if we ran G to the right here, we would have a hat call to the FBI. We're kicking the 6 or wider, so easiest path, the FBI. G, for G, the center has play side on backside, so he needs to scoop this nose, or we could cut him. Play side guard is kicking out the 6 or wider. Backside here, we would pull and lead up and then look in. This backside tackle has to cut or scoop this backside three technique because you're responsible for the B gap. Okay. So that's how we would block that even front if we got it, or that three technique on the backside. That's a tough block for that tackle. And we'll try to work on cut blocks this week to try to help you with that. Okay. If we ran, let's say we ran kick to the right against this. So if we had, let's say, a one technique and a three technique on the backside. Sorry, a one technique on the front side. Okay. So it looks something like this. Let's say if we're running power to the right here. Okay, we'd have a TED to FBI. Here, this could just be a gap call, or we could double the one. So we could have a cage call to the FBI. H kicks out. Backside guard leads up and through for power. And then we would have to cut this backside three technique or wheel and seal him hard so he cannot get into the backfield. Okay, if we ran kick, everyone's gap on double. So here we would have a double still to FBI. Once again, we could just gap it, or we could double it to FBI. We would have a gap call here, and we'd kick out there. Okay. That's with that backside three and a play side one. I think that's just about it for our plays there. I hope this makes sense. Um, Now, if they did, the one thing I'll say is if they showed this and it's pass protection, you'd have the three, you'd have the five. If they had a one technique, then we would double the one technique here. Okay. You would block the five. You two are looking at this linebacker here on the one technique side. If this backer stepped up, the A back would have to go block him. Okay. So that is our pass blocking. Right. So I hope you guys watched all this, and we are ready to go on Monday for offense.